Hello and welcome to With Something. I'm your host and guide, West Fox. So my dad was working on something and he was just messing around. He wanted to try to do a Star Wars title scroll for some stuff he was trying to learn in After Effects. So the standard opening crawl. So I was like, how can I help him kind of learn some of the elements to make that happen? And I figured I'd make a tutorial that anybody can watch and learn some basic techniques and stuff that can kind of help you out. So I got some reference material here of the actual original creation of it. That's the scroll screenshot for later. And then this is kind of the process of making it. So obviously we don't know the camera lens zoom length and what size lens it is and what aperture they're using. But we're going to kind of extrapolate from what we see here. So so what we'll do is here, we'll start a new comp. So you can just right click, new composition. And we'll make this a 1080p. Actually, we'll make it 4K. We'll do 4K at 23.976. That's kind of standard film speed. We'll keep it at 30 seconds here. Resolution full is fine. You can also make it 1080p if you want. Make it whatever resolution you'd like for your thing. But okay, and there is our comp. So the first thing I'm going to do here is go in here and new text. And then I have the off screen. I have copied and pasted the opening crawl, just using the original one, but you can put any text you want in there. There we go. Now, obviously, this doesn't fit our look, so I'm just going to do a quick drop this in so we can get an idea of the font, spacing and everything. So I'm going to do this, scale this to. So one quick way to do things is you can do transform and fit to comp. I'll do fit to comp width. If you do full fit to comp, it will actually stretch it more. So since it's not a perfect screenshot, I don't want to do the full fit to comp. Otherwise, it will kind of oddly stretch it. So I'm going to go in here and lock that layer so I can't select it right now because, like I said, that's going to be our kind of our basis of when we adjust our angles and everything. So the kerning on the font is not kerning. We have to go in here and we're going to go into our wire font selector. We're going to go into our paragraph settings, which is not there. So if you don't see your paragraph settings, go into window and it should be somewhere. Oh, there it is. I buried it. And it won't let you justify all. Interesting. So I wonder why that is. All right, so after a quick test, I realized what I had done. So I just clicked and pasted. So actually with the text selection tool, click and drag. And then we'll paste that same text into it. And then we're going to go select all, and we're going to use justify all and last to right. And actually last left. So that's why it's kind of good. Reference can go, oh, look at that. And then we'll bring this in. I think it's two. Let's see. These breaks. So essentially what happened is the material I had pulled this from had it broken out already with the line breaks. And so I'm having to go in here and manually delete these. There we go. All right, readjusted. Now we have our correct kerning there. So now we can go in here and we're going to go and expand this a bit. So look at there, we can actually expand the actual part. We're just going to pull it to there. Pull it to there. And then I'm going to grab this. And then I'm going to do a... So we have it perfectly aligned. We're going to go in here and go to align. Line of composition, center. Perfect. That way we know it's actually the middle of the comp there for later when we're doing the camera setup. So everything's easier to track. And then we'll go in here and we'll do a... Let's see, the aerial, oops, selected, and then that looks pretty close. Definitely not perfect, but it'll work for what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to start scaling this up. I'm going to scale this up until we hit the point that it has the same relative breaking. So Evil Galactic Empire. Looks like we need to go quite a bit bigger here. It's a period of civil war. There we go. That's pretty close to what we need. Zoom out there, click in here, going to bring this down. And one thing I like to do in this case is I'm going to actually go here and do a pre-comp. So I'm going to right click on this and Precompose, move all attributes, open a new composition in this case. So this just compresses it. So we'll make this composition, unlock this height, and we'll make it a little bit taller here. Boom. And then we'll use select. Go into comp settings again. Go a little taller. Make it a little, oh yeah, good, there we go. A little taller. A little wider, or sorry, a little narrower. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just to kind of allow it to fit a little better on there. So I'm gonna go here. There we go. We'll use the alliance option to center and center it. Boom. There we go. Now we'll go back to our main comp, which you can actually rename main. All right, so now we have our text in here. So that's perfect. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm here and go here and create a new camera. So this is kind of where the more complexity of the camera gets in. So do a new camera, leave it as the default. Well, we'll default it at the, do 20 millimeters. I'm gonna give that a try to start with. We'll go 20 millimeters. The next thing we're gonna do is do a new null object. We're going to turn that to 3D. We're also going to turn this comp to 3D. So this allows us now to interact with 3D space. And then we're going to the effects and presets. Text, X, Y, separate positions here. And then we'll select the null. There we go. And then we'll go into the camera, use the pick whip here, and drop this onto the null. So what this does, it now allows us to use the null to adjust the camera's position. And what that kind of does, it separates the animation into individual parts, because if you look into the camera, in order to transform, its position is all three of these. So every time you do anything, animation-wise, it affects these. And so it's a lot easier to go in here and use the elements in here. So like if I want to rotate it, which we will be doing, we can use these. Oops, yeah. So we will want to rotate something. So we're going to go in here and use our Z rotation. No, it's going to be our X rotation. There we go. And use our X rotation until we get this pretty well lined up with the original. Here I can do a 2-camera view here. That way we'll do this, pull this from the left. And there's our camera. And there's a plane. So you can kind of see how that compares to our original there. So I'm going to do is I do think that's actually pretty close to the angle. So let me go to oops. Nobody's moving their stuff around, so I thought I could just grab that and stretch it, but I guess not at the moment. So whatever. We're going to just do the single view then. Pull this back up to fit up to 100. So I feel like that angle is pretty good. So let's just do a solid 70. Nope. If you use Control and drag, you can do much smaller percentages. So I want to do one thing here. We can do reset that. Perfect. So what I did, I just moved this over so I got to compare it to the edge there a little stronger. And then we're going to go in here with our select our null and adjust our position a bit. So we're actually going to move the camera hair to match go in here and move this to match that. There we go. Now, and the reason we use, I'm putting the camera on an angle because it's much easier to use this comp, go into this position and move it on this axis. So you can see we're just using one axis. We don't need to try to comp two different angles. We can just move it into one. So I do feel like the camera's angle is pretty solid. So I'm using the 20 mil. This is one you can definitely play with. So you could go in here and you could make this like, okay, is this a 15? And then readjust the height of the camera. So I go here and let's see how it compares. So go in here and yeah, so I think I like the 20. And if you do change it, you have to go in there and readjust all the angles and everything. But I think in this case, it's a pretty solid way to do it. So now we can go into our lock this comp. Go and open this one. And I just want to grab character, use the pick tool to use the same color, or darn close to it. The overall color is a little more saturation. I'm just going to up that saturation a yellow just a hair. Maybe just a hair more. Okay, that's pretty close. Not perfect, but it's close. All right, so the next thing we can do is we're going to go here and turn master, and we can animate the move. And what's nice is a one single key animation. So I'm going to turn this background off for now. So we just have a new one. And obviously you can find the text and choose your font. You can find the perfect font for you. You can readjust your kerning and spacing and all these things as you see fit. Obviously this isn't perfect, but you can adjust it. You know, except I'm trying to match it as it. You can see some spacing here. And that's just because I did the way I did the paragraph aligning and everything. So we go in here. I'm going to put this to just off screen. Go hit P for position, which we already had up, put a keyframe there, and I'll move to about, we'll do 10 seconds just for the sake of it. I'm actually going to bring this, hit in, which brings my end piece in, and that way, and we're going to push this forward. I'm going to use the shift key, now move it faster. Put it right about there. All right. So if we play that, preview. Obviously, that's way too fast. Make sure my render setting, preview render settings are not doing crazy. So obviously I need to extend that out quite a lot. So we'll go out here and push out 27. The nice thing is to adjust your speed, all you need to do is go in here and move that single keyframe now. So obviously that's still a little too fast. But the rendering speed's about right. So that's funny. So well, because I am rendering at 4K, so. Now, the other thing that's important that you'll see in the original opening here is that we do have our Starfield, so I'll try to do a thing there later. So let's see where this kind of fades off, because let's see, it starts off here, reference-wise, so we hit it comes into frame at about 37, 36, and then continues through. It's the bottom at 32, so about a minute, not quite. So that's how you can use a reference when you're trying to copy something or use it for a reference. We'll go in here and we'll put that at like 0. We'll put this at 1, or we'll put at 56. Really bad at math on my head. I don't know. I used to be really good. Just never do it anymore. It's like anything else. You kind of do a lot of things, and when you stop going to school and you don't have to do it on a daily basis, you kind of forget some of the stuff. So we'll go here. And this is good. Since the changed that length, these items are very easy to stretch out. You just select them and drag. However, you're going to see that this one's fine too. It's just our picture. You're going to see this one does not click and drag. And that's because this is actually a comp. So we have to go in here into the individual comp and then go to comp settings. This I'll just stretch up to whatever. I'm just going to add another minute to this. One, boom, done. And we're going back to our main one. And you'll see now you can stretch it to length. There we go. And then we'll do a quick, I'm going to do a render at 3rd resolution for preview really fast. And let's see what that does. Nice. So that's pretty good speed-wise. Obviously, we're basing this off of the original, so that kind of helps. Let's see if I can do anything on that font really fast. Just see if I can add a little bit of 220. Oh, nice. Nope. Okay, that's a little better. Go back to the main, make sure our positionings work. So there's our first. Oh, see how I lost it out. That makes sense. If I go in here, I stretch the comp. I did not stretch the individual time layer. Now I'll go back into the main. So I didn't stretch the layer here to match the length. You don't have to technically comp this in. I just like doing it. That's habit, because a lot of times you go and make things easier when you're trying to animate stuff. Like I said, you're keeping inside of a constrained space. So let's make sure I actually pushed it far enough, and boom. Okay, that's pretty good. What you can do if you want to get some of this like grain on here or kind of that noise is you can go in here and I could do generate. No, actually I'm gonna add some noise and grain. Add grain. We'll do 2. So what I did there is I just add some grain. I put this onto the final output, and then I turned the speed down to really low. I might even just do 0.05. That way it's not noise in the sense of like film grain, that each individual one, but more of the kind of getting the vibe from the actual print here, which is actually kind of texture from the material more. So if I play that again, this will actually render a lot slower now because that actually adds a lot. So I'll turn that off once we give a little bit of it, but you can kind of see what it adds. And so I might even do blend with original amount. We'll say 50% there. Might even do less. Might even do more. 80. Why is that not actually blending? Why? The film definitely looks better. I see it's probably a matte setting. Okay, so just here. And the other thing I can do is simple choker. That was 4, so I'm going to do 0.2. Turn that off. Turn on. A lot of times it's just comparing stuff. No, that didn't do what I was thinking. I was thinking to get a little bit of a noise edge, but that's all good. Well, that's another kind of finesse thing. Like I said, I'm kind of showing you just kind of as I'm thinking it. So I know it's a little longer and a little slower, but I'm just giving you kind of some options as you play along with it that you can do to kind of enhance the vibe. So let's just do the Starfield now. So we'll do a new comp. Sorry, new solid. Put in gray there. And I'm going to leave that in front. I'm going to turn off the text grain for speed. Solo this for now for speed. We're going to add some, oops, just like that. We're going to add some noise. Up that noise. Use color. Then we're going to do a color correction, curves, and crush out those blacks. Now the Starfield in the original is quite, actually, if we look at it, we'll go into our screenshot. Oops. It's pretty minimal, so that's okay. I just wanted to play with, what we're going to do here is add a very subtle amount of add a super subtle Starfield in the background. Then we'll duplicate this. And I'm going to go in here and take the top one. We're going to turn off the noise, curves. We're going to here, we're going to generate fractal noise. Boom. There we go. And we'll do And it's just playing with a lot of settings. I know that's a lot of quiet right there, but it's just playing with kind of those settings. So we're here to do another curves. Then I can even go back to my lower level and see if I can give a little bit more of that. Just a hint. Maybe bring down the white. There we go. And now we have this nice little Starfield here. Now granted, if you're doing camera movement, this will not work. You might have to do a circular technique, but at least this is the start for where you can start kind of building auto-generated material and stuff at scales. And like I said, you kind of get these nice little. And the reason I use that one was it gives you these nice little odd shapes in here. Little cup of the wake up juice. And I hope you don't mind me leaving. I'm going to leave some of this stuff in because in the past, people have gone, oh, you really like that you show some of the mistakes and stuff. And hopefully I will show you some of the things because, you know, all this stuff, it's easy to think that, oh, yeah, I know it the first time. But all about experimenting, messing around. I mean, to give you a quick idea, let's see, watch, if I go here and go, where is that perspective? Environment, is that it? Mm-hmm. So play around, I think it's this one, environment. I'll have to play around more pre-comp and stuff. But I believe this one you can use it to actually create like 360s and that kind of thing. So we're going to de-solo this now. De-solo. And we'll do a quick little preview here. All right. That looks pretty good. So now if I pause it right about there, actually I'll go a little farther. Boom. And I'll turn on the grain just to give it a little bit of texture. Yeah. That's a nice little texture. Like I said, it adds that imperfectional level. Like I said, you can really fine tune and play with that as much as you want to kind of pull what you personally like on it. The other thing I want to see here, which is the other trick that I'll play, is it does seem like there's a bit of a gradient fall off. So if I put this here and we put that to the end, like I said, it's not perfect on the spacing, but you can kind of see they're not perfect angles. Well, they're pretty good though. Actually, it's pretty solid. But what I'm seeing here is a nice little fall off. So I was thinking about it and I was like, what can I do to add some level of fall off? And I'm like, And I was thinking using gradient, but now that I'm thinking about that, will interfere with our stars. So what we can try to do is do a new solid, make it, well, I want to try one thing first. Let's see if we can do, I wasn't sure if these cameras had a fall off on them. It's been so many, I play with some different little programs, sometimes they have little things that I'm like, oh, do they add fall off on that now? Because they could have. All right, so we'll turn this back on. Make it 3D. Nice. And so that's the nice thing of keeping things kind of aligned with the original is you can kind of get things to go where you want them. So we'll go out here, push it out, way out there. Kind of in, And then going to going to layer settings, make this black. Okay. Then we're going to go in here and do a fast box blur. Turn on the transparency, turn that on. This gives an idea kind of what it's doing. So I'm going to turn the scale up on this thing. Turn this off. Turn that down. Turn these back on. Okay, so I get like kind of that black hole out there vibe. So I can scroll back, turn off the text grain there. Boom. So if I go right there, and then I'll turn that off. Yeah, that adds a little bit of that like darkening effect. You can refine that as much as you want. Now the question is, we're getting some of that, losing some of that. So what we can do, and I use this technique quite a lot. We're going to go here and duplicate this. And then I'm going to put that right above that. Actually, I think right below it. And turn on the track matte. We'll do there we go. So what I did there was I turned on the, you can see these extra little boxes for extra settings, but I turned track matte on. So I duplicated the original. So these will always be tied together since the animation's tied together. Actually, if you move the animation, you'll have to make sure these match. My mistake. But what that does is now I go to the end. Actually, did I do that backwards? I think I did it backwards. What it should do is only allow the black to, there we go. What that does, so I did it backwards, so it's actually that layer on top of that one, so go to U. So what it does is, now that layer is only, this black solid, is only affecting the text, because it's matching the text, so it's essentially cutting it out. So what's nice on that is I can actually position this and go, okay, does it go a little too early on that? Cool. And I can actually go in here and then actually adjust the settings a little more. So I'll go here in 500. Oops. There we go. So yeah, make sure you save this stuff. We're going to do here a quick save. That's not save. Because nothing is worse than when you lose your projects. So you can see that's too tight there. So we'll go here and do 500 is what I meant to type. There we go. And then we'll do 6 alliterations. That just makes it smoother. So if I just soloed that, you can see what it's doing on the text alone. Because what that did was, so I turn this off, no track matte, alpha. And there we go. So I'm going to turn this back off solo. There we go. So that's kind of my quick little tutorial on how to make the Star Wars intro opening. Hopefully someone's helpful for you. Like I said, some little techniques and stuff, little tricks. Like I said, just trying to help my dad out because he's been trying to learn, and I've been trying to do more tutorials and things that I know and share the little tips and tricks that I can know to do things. So hopefully this is helpful, and maybe I'm going to expand on this one in the future, and we'll go into kind of maybe creating the actual 3-dimensional space with the stars. And that's something he's playing with, so I'll probably move to that next. So hopefully you'll join us. Thank you for joining me, Wes Fox, on With Something. Have a great day.